Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Three Different Dads, a podcast with us dads. Jim and Tyler and myself, Lorenzo, are your hosts. Guys, Jim, even though you said you woke up 3 minutes ago, thank you for coming on.
Hey,
You're
some
ready,
of us
though.
show
I can
up.
tell. I can tell you're
Yeah,
ready. Yeah.
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 I'm sorry about my hiatus the last episode. So I know
We're-
the listeners were very upset with me. So I saw it on the message boards. It was not great.
well, we're on different message boards then.
Yeah. There's a hate one for
Oh,
me.
okay. Wait,
So,
specifically for you or the podcast in general?
well, no, I was calling me out, saying
Oh,
that,
okay. All right.
lack of professionalism. There's certain things were said. So
Okay.
And they were true.
and- yeah.
it was a tough time. Tough time.
Not the reason you left. It made it sound like you went to a funeral or something.
No, no.
I just want to clear that up. We're not making fun of you, because
No,
you
it was
missed
just it was poor planning on my part.
All right.
The calendar got messed up, and so that's on me. I own it.
All right. Also, I'd like to point out that you guys did not realize that we record every last Sunday of the month.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
So I reached out. What was it?
1000%.
2 or 3 days ago. I said, "Hey, when's the next podcast?" And you're like, "It's Sunday. It's the last Sunday of every month." I was like, "Oh, okay." And so you guys obviously just did the one with George a couple weeks ago, and it threw me off because I was just like, "Wait, yes, that was the 17th. What's going on?" You're just like, "No, that was supposed to be, like
Our draft.
a draft." Thank you. And I was
Hidden bonus
confused.
episode.
Yeah, it was basically a bonus episode. So I finally went ahead and threw it in the calendar. I actually set up like a reminder for the last Sunday of every month. And I actually set the calendar reminder to warn me like a whole day before as well. So
Oh, good. I'm glad.
so maybe we'll have better odds of, going through. So
Well, it was only one time.
no, I
So
know.
I'm not too. This is only episode 8, so I'm not too worried about it.
Still getting our groove.
Yeah, we'll get it. Before we get into our topics, this one bit of dad news that I have is we got Mateo a cell phone and Lillian a smartwatch.
All right.
It was a highly debated topic, from not just Andrew and I, but her parents were talking about it because one reason we wanted to get Mateo a phone is because he has to catch the bus a whole hour early because he's going to a different school than he did last year. He's going to the 5th and 6th grade building. So he has to walk earlier. So there's probably going to be no adults. It's just him and I'm assuming my father-in-law is going to go because he goes every time. But we just want to make sure like he's okay, like he's going to be where he's supposed to be, and then when he gets home that he's going to be home, that he's going to be fine when he gets home. And it makes it in the what, it's been like a week that he's had it. It's made our lives easier, because we can get a hold of him when we want to, because now he's going to friends' houses a little bit more. I mean, he's always been doing that for the past couple of years, but now instead of like calling their parent, his friend's parent, we can call him or text him like, hey, you got to come home or whatever. So it makes it a little easier. Now Lillian, on the other hand, we got her a kid smartwatch. It's called a Gizmo. And you can only program so many numbers in it. And the first day, she only had 3 numbers or 4 numbers programmed in it, and she made 76 phone calls.
Oh my God.
So if you could immediately regret a purchase, that's what it was.
If it's a smartwatch, you just like hold it up and start doing that thing with it.
Yeah. You can text,
Our
but it
listeners
doesn't
really like that example that it just gave. But
well, it's
you just talk into the watch.
yes.
Okay.
You can
No, I'm
text,
just-
but it doesn't have a keyboard. It has like set texts like hello or where are you, how are you doing, that kind of stuff. She can send voice texts, or so she does that where it's like a recorded thing that she does. So that's
So
also
was she
fun.
just calling like
From the
you-
back seat of the car.
calling you from the back seat
Yeah.
of the car?
Yeah.
Oh my
or
god.
or you know, Andrea was upstairs, so she was calling her from the basement or whatever, you know, and so but it's cooled off. I mean, the first day was it was a new thing, so she's gonna call
Yeah,
everybody. So yeah,
that's awesome.
but yeah, it's
Uh, question for you though,
yeah.
like, is your son just like, is he on it all the time? Is he like, hey, friends, hit me up?
Hit me up on my pager.
Yeah, hit
Uh,
me on the two-way.
um, no, not like necessarily texting, but he because he's always wanted to play Pokemon Go. Um, so he was excited to get that on his phone, and so we got to tell him like, all right, you know, just like with any other video game, like, okay, you know, let's put it down, or you can play until we get to the restaurant or whatever, then you're done. You know, we're not gonna have your phone out at the restaurant. He's pretty good about, I mean, he'll play on it all day if we tell him or if we don't say anything, but he's pretty good about once we say, all right, you're done, then he can just put it down. So, but it's only going to get worse. So,
Exciting.
but yeah, so
It's,
that's,
yeah.
I know we've talked about it before on the podcast. So we've broken that seal. So,
That's a
Hey, man.
big step.
yeah,
Huge step for the group.
for the group.
Well, now we can go to you for guidance, but yeah, it's I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot.
Kids
I
are growing up.
mean, it's a lot sooner than we thought. Now we just have to watch like,
Can you see everything?
no, we haven't really like dove into parental stuff on it yet. It's an iPhone, and we don't have I mean, we have our work phones are iPhones, but we don't have iPhones. So it's we have to.
Message group.
Yeah, you hate it. So we have to like go through all that stuff, but we have Life 360, which is we can see where everyone's at all the time. Which will come into play more when he's can drive because it also lets us like you can set things on this app where it lets you know their top speed, their average speed. If there's like if you accelerate really fast or brake really hard, like it lets you know all this stuff so you can like, hey, keep tabs on how they're driving and stuff. So that's a paid service though. So we got to do that. If we got to want that, we got to pay for it.
What if he's just a really aggressive driver, but he's good at it? Like, I mean,
well, I guess
there's certain people out there, obviously, that's they're better drivers than others. And I mean, humble brag, I think of myself as a great driver. So
yeah.
No
I
one
don't
thinks
know.
of themselves like, hey, I'm a really shitty driver.
No,
This
there
is
are
100%
people.
correct though.
There are people.
No, there are
I know
people.
one. My oldest brother Justin has literally told me that he's a bad driver before. But in his defense, he lives in a major city and he hardly has to drive. So it's like, yeah, I would get that. I don't know. He was never a great driver to begin with, though.
No one ever says they're a shitty driver.
He hit a parked car, and as when he started driving, and my mom was with him, and rather than stop, he proceeded to keep going into the parking spot. So like he sideswiped the car, like the entire length of the car.
It's a good spot, man. Had to have it.
Dude, he had to have it. Didn't want to give it up.
But did your mom tell him like, all right, now let's get out of here?
No, it's like what the fuck? Why didn't you just? I forget it was either my mom or my dad was with them, but they're just like, why didn't you just stop? Like, why didn't you just stop as soon as you touched this car? But I think he just panicked and he just kept going. But so anyway, there's a point to the story is there's good drivers and bad drivers, and you don't want to crush Mateo's dreams if he's a great driver. He can make a lot of money doing that. NASCAR, no.
Well, I know I had a dream when I was his age that I was going to be a NASCAR driver and an ambulance driver. So if I got in an accident, I could drive myself to the hospital.
That's a great dream.
Yeah. Double dip so those big paydays come.
Double dip, yeah. Get those multi-million-dollar contracts and then those minimum wage ambulance driver contracts.
Oh yeah.
I would tell you like I don't know what type of insurance you're working with, but like Allstate tells me how I'm driving.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
So it's like a thing on there where it's like if you have it on while you're driving, you get a cheaper rate, whatever. But then it's like, hey, you didn't like aggressively hit your brakes, like you stayed within the speed limit. Well, it gives you essentially like if you go into the app, you can see like how you did.
Now, does that affect you negatively as well as positively?
I'm sure it does.
It can
You haven't
only
done that
give
though.
you, so the way it works, I asked my insurance agent. I have the same thing with
It's
State
just,
Farm.
this is so a dad topic.
It is.
Perfect. This is perfect for
No,
the
but I
podcast.
asked my insurance agent, I was just like, how does this work? He goes, okay, well, it's always based off your age and your basically your actual like driving history. So they look at tickets over so many years. And the older you get, obviously, like the better driver you're supposed to become, or more conservative driver. So anyway, they have a set rate based off your age and your driving history. And then what it does is it looks then if you have this app, it factors in like Jim said, speed, braking, distance, how many trips you're taking in a day, all this stuff, and it basically can lower your rate based off of that information. But the set rate is always going to be the set rate. To my understanding, they can't like dock you for having this.
I would say, like,
So
if you have this thing and you're aggressively driving, hitting the brakes hard, um, accelerating all the time, and they're like, "Man, you suck. We're gonna add $5 to your bill every month."
to my understanding, all you're doing is you're just squeezing the discount that they possibly would give you, like to a lower amount.
Okay.
They'll still give you a little bit of a discount if you have it. I'm pretty sure I'm, just talking out loud. I probably have a bad discount for that reason because I'm trying to log into my thing right now to see how poorly I drive every day.
I think I
I don't
think
drive anymore, man.
you what?
I don't drive. I work from home.
So yeah,
It's
so
on Tyler.
Jim's discount
I
will probably be phenomenal because like if you don't drive, it's gonna say, oh my god, they're the best driver ever because there's no risk for the insurance company.
I told Tyler I just filled up my car from our trip from Austin. Like I refilled pretty close to
That's
home,
insane.
like outside of
Really?
Dallas, coming back. But yeah, like the other day, I was like, oh, I'm like my check or my gas gauge thing came up. I was like, oh, okay.
It's that quarterly fill up the gas tank. Huh?
Yeah.
That's so crazy because even without work, going to work every day for us, we're all one of us is always somewhere taking a kid somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, we drive my wife's car primarily, I guess.
Okay.
So, but
That's crazy though.
yeah, I don't know. It's one thing Tyler said, Lorenzo, do you have an insurance guy?
I don't. I just get my own insurance. Like we've had Progressive for forever. And then when we bought a house, I just went online and got a homeowner's insurance policy through Progressive because then we get a discount on everything because it's both. But no, I don't have. I know a lot of people who do. Like, yeah, my insurance agent. I switch car insurances every year or whatever because my insurance agent finds a better deal. I'm like, well, I don't know. It seems like I guess it's not a lot of work because you're not doing anything, but it just seems like if I don't have an issue or if our rate's pretty low, then I don't know.
I just don't have like I don't know. It's I know there's like a home office that I have kind of, but like I don't think I'd talk to that person ever. And of course they suck. Like they were a pain in the ass to deal with anyways. Allstate can kiss my ass during the whole like Texas
Power outage of
Yeah.
01.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 21.
Left me homeless for 6 months, but yeah, no.
Insurance in general is, I mean, yeah, when you need it, cool, we have it. But sometimes when you need it, you're like, oh yeah, you didn't initial here, so you don't have that coverage.
It wasn't even that. It was as if they thought like I was lying that like the part that like really set me off was that they couldn't send anybody out because they were so backed up to like check it out because they send somebody out. But like we had no pipes or running water to any of the bathrooms, and like one of the things like completely like flooded our closet. And so like they were like, well, we'll give you like $500.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do if I like? I mean, yeah, that's great. That's not gonna like fix the entire like my all my clothes and my wife's clothes are gone. Like
Yeah.
that's not gonna fix it. And like,
Did he freeze?
Jim froze.
guys, like,
Jim.
hold on.
Oh, there we go.
So
You're back.
yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
But-
You said your wife's and your clothes were gone, and then they just what I didn't. Then after that, you were done.
Oh, and they just wanted to give me $500 to like tie me over. I was like, dude, I can go to Walmart or Kroger and like buy some sweatpants or whatever for a couple of days. But like they thought that was like the fix all at first. And I'm like, gonna need a little bit more cheddar to replace these things.
To replace a third of my house.
Yeah. So it's just and then they'd be like, oh man, we're really busy. I was like, yeah, you're an insurance agent. When things are bad, like people are gonna be going to you to like fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were acting like it was the biggest like inconvenience in the world. It was like it's kind of the game you're in, bud.
Like, wait, we have to pay money? We're just supposed to get money.
Yeah, wait, people are coming to us because they lost like there's issues with their house now. What the hell?
Because this stupid kid sideswiped a parked car and kept going. Come on.
True story. Happens.
Well, Jim, you brought up you mentioned the Austin trip, and that's not necessarily what my topic is, but on the subject of time for ourselves. Do you guys, and it's a little bit different, obviously, for all of us. But that's the podcast, 3 different dads. Do you guys ever feel guilty for wanting to take time for yourself? And I'm not talking like the Austin trip. I didn't feel guilty. I just like, oh yes, I'd like to be home to say goodnight to my kids, but I didn't feel guilty about it because it was a planned thing. Like we're gonna do this trip. It's a cool thing. It's once every couple years. But like just taking, an hour or two because you want to watch a game or you want to play, like I like to play video games, or you want to do this or that. Do you guys ever feel guilty about doing that?
I do. I guess again, situation's different, but with my weekends only being half with Olivia, I do struggle with that. Like I find, I don't know. Well, like so prime example is like last night, a couple of my old work colleagues were in town and wasn't really able to make it work out to go see them because it was my night with Olivia and stuff. So yeah, it's tough, like because I don't want to give up time with Olivia, but also at the same time, like people outside of my life or whatever, they're making plans and stuff, and it's just like they're not really looking at my schedule per se.
Well,
So
also
that's tough,
yeah. Also, for like you said, for you get her every other weekend. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So for you to be like, yeah, you're with me, but I got to get a sitter because I'm doing this thing. You're like, well, I'm only here 2 times a month. I would imagine that would be.
Yeah, and that's how it's just like, and like I don't want her to think, oh, dad doesn't want to spend time with me. So it's like, so that's really tough. So yeah, I think I probably over internalize a little bit more. Truth be told, like Olivia's not here right now because she ended up spending the night at grandma's house last night. So, but again, I don't know if I'm just, it's probably a little bit more me just over internalizing it, thinking like, oh my gosh, like we got to spend every minute of every day together that we have together. Cause I, like you said, I only get her half the time anyway. So, but yeah, that's tough. I don't know if that really answered the question.
Yeah,
but.
no, it does. I always feel not necessarily like in the evening when the kids are in bed is when I'll, play video games or something. And, I'm just downstairs. But sometimes even during the day, Mateo would be like, hey, do you want to play video games? And I can't because I have to do these other things. So it's not necessarily like pleasurable, but it's like, hey, I have to do laundry, but yeah, after laundry, or hey, I got to mow the front yard, but after that, and then like like to me it's again you're I think you're right, like overanalyzing it, but I always feel like I'm constantly like saying no or yes but, and then like I just imagine his little brain is like, oh my gosh, I just want to play video games with my dad, like but there's just things I have to do, so though I don't feel as bad because those are things I have to do, but I feel bad after the fact when I'm thinking about him, like, but
Yeah.
in reality, he's probably just like, well, I'm gonna ask my dad because I know he's just asking me to play Fortnite because he has no friends online right now to play Fortnite. But I still feel bad about it.
No, it's true. It's like prime example is like, say, some Fridays, like you've worked all week and you're just like, dude, I just want to like relax. And then, like Olivia will be like, hey, do you wanna play doctor with me? And I'm like, no, can we just like watch a movie? Please, can we just watch a movie?
Can I play the dead patient? Yes.
That's
yes.
basically yes. I'm like, I'll play doctor if I could just lay on the couch. But of course, then I end up having to be the doctor then eventually, and it's like, God damn it. Oh,
So side note that when you were talking to Ty, potential topic or idea that we can have for the show, though, I do have questions for Tyler. Like we can do like single dad question because that made me think too. Like, does it ever piss you off? Because I get excited when I have like the house to myself, or like, it's just like empty there
for like 6 hours or something.
Not even that. Like
Yeah.
Andrea took the girls to like my in-laws for a night and a half, and it was just like, holy shit, this is kind of nice just to kind of like reset. The house is clean all day.
Yeah.
When I get excited over that, or like other people are excited over that, Tyler, you're kind of like, well, fuck you guys. Like, I wish I could have it's all like,
no, I don't think immediately, fuck you guys. No, it's different, it's just like, yeah, like to your point, the night she's not here, it's just like, there'll be, it's like, I was just saying, I don't want to play doctor with Olivia, but obviously I'd much rather have her here asking me that question than not. So yeah, that's a struggle. So
but to answer your question, Lorenzo, like I mean, sometimes I do when they're like, my youngest one's like on this Encanto kick where it's like we have all these dolls and like she wants to play with them, and like every single time we play it's the exact same storyline every single time, and it's just like, can we just record me doing this thing over and over again with you? But it's it's tough, but it's just kind of at the same time like you got to take care of you got to do your own thing. But I also really enjoy too, like gym time. Like, I feel like people need to have that. Like,
what do you like to do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, like it could be, it's just hang out. Just our sponsors are gonna hate this, but I took an edible last time, and like I just chilled out, watched Old School, and had a very nice evening, and went to bed at like 8:30.
I remember you told me after we got off the podcast with George, you told me about that, and that was so funny, especially when you're like, I watched Old School.
Threw that on there. Like I cleaned the house, and then I don't do it very often, but I was just like, hey, I'm gonna take half of this here, and then nothing really happened for a second. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take the other half, and then like all of it kicked in, and I was just like, oh shit, like I'm not a drug guy, but like, this kind of fucked me up here for a minute, and just kind of like melted into the couch and just kind of chilled there for a little bit, and then I woke up and then went to bed, and it was a nice relax. Like I got a shitload of sleep, and it was just kind of the house was like completely cleaned and just kind of chilled there. So it was nice. But
can you when you're at home and Andrea's gone, can you sleep? I'm assuming, do you sleep better in your bed, in your guys' bed, or do you struggle?
So I really like, ever since having the kids and like a sound machine, like I got addicted to having some type of noise. And so and she does not like that. So Like I just ordered like a couple months ago and it's been awesome, but it's essentially like a eye mask
Yeah.
thing.
Sleep like a
And
sleep
then-
mask.
Yeah, sleep mask, sorry. And then it has little like flat earbuds kind of thing on the side. So I can listen to whatever the hell I want. And it just connects to my phone. So I just have like rain sounds or whatever. And I'm just like, okay. And I'll fall asleep right away with that.
Yeah.
So when she's gone, I can just throw that like just on my phone normally and don't have to, because the thing with the mask and even like the earphone aspect, even though they're thin, like when you're laying there on something,
Yeah.
after like an hour or so, you're just like, what the hell? So like I'll wake up and just like after a couple hours and just like flip the thing off and just like go back to bed.
Mhm.
But when she's gone, like no, it's all that type of stuff. But I end up staying awake a lot later. Like
Yeah.
I just I'll be like, I'm kind of bored, and then start watching stuff on my phone or whatever. And because there's not someone next to me to be like, dude, go to bed, or like you're keeping me up, I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, you look and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's 2 a.m. Like, oh, shit, like I need to go to sleep right away. So
Yeah, it was interesting hearing George's perspective when we were on the Austin trip because he said like whatever he went to bed at 9 or 9:30 every day, and I think somebody in the room asked him, "Well, why do you go to bed so early?" He's just like, "Well, I realized finally like all I was doing late night was just bullshit. Like I was just dicking around on my phone, like doing this, doing that." He's like, "So I just turned the phone off and I just go to sleep." And I started thinking about that like after the trip a little bit, and I was like, "Man." Because I looked at my own life, I was like, that's completely true. It's like from probably the hours of like 9, 10, 11, I do nothing but just like dick around on my phone, just like looking at stupid shit on Instagram and
yeah, but you're
Twitter.
smarter for it.
Am I smarter for it? I don't know. It's debatable. I mean, I some stuff I get educated on, but yeah, I don't know. So I thought that was an interesting perspective. It's like, you know, I'm just dicking around on my phone afterwards, and I'm like, maybe I should start trying to go to bed earlier. But last night I think I went to bed at 1 a.m. So yeah, here we are.
Oh yeah, I went to bed late too. I was midnight. Usually I'm the one that says, "Hey, let's go to bed." Otherwise we'll just because I hate falling asleep on the couch. It's comfortable at the time, but then when you wake up at like 3 a.m. and then you got to go upstairs and go to bed.
Yeah.
I don't like doing that. So I'm always like, "Hey, let's go upstairs before we fall asleep." Or my favorite thing. Sometimes I do it on purpose, and sometimes I don't. But Andrea will be on her phone, and then I realize like she's getting comfy, and she puts her phone down. She's ready to fall asleep. I go, "Let's go to bed." She goes, "Not now. I just got comfy." I was like, "What?" I want to go. I don't want to fall asleep here.
Yeah.
But I can't sleep as good when she's gone, like on work trips or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I don't use the whole bed. I still use my side of the bed. Like I don't even expand my territory.
I do get paranoid though, too. Like, and it's so stupid because it's like when everybody's home, I don't think about stuff. But when it's just me, and it's like, what the fuck is my wife gonna like, or like my kid's gonna do with this? But like,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, did I lock those doors? Like every single noise, I'm just like, oh shit, like what's going on here? And when people are here, like I could hear a million noises and not give like two. I'm just like, man, whatever. Like it's nothing. But then when it's just me, I'm like, oh, like I'll be just about asleep, and then like the house will like make a funky sound, and like I'll pop up and be like, wait, what the fuck was that? Like,
And that's not just on edible nights. That's every night.
no, that's me anytime I'm by myself. Yeah.
Jim is also terrified to watch any horror film. Put that
Yeah,
in perspective
like
too.
scary
So
movies.
yeah.
I don't like scary movies.
But it's just weird that like I wouldn't like I don't do that normally, but I do it when
You don't do it when your precious children are in a house, but
exactly. It's just when it's me.
you're like, "Oh, the kids will take care of it."
Yeah. You know.
Take them, not me.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Wait, do you guys do you like scary movies, Lorenzo?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'll watch them. Andrea doesn't. We don't watch them really because Andrea won't watch them. But yeah, I'll watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. But I also had an older brother who loved that shit, so I was always around it.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's like to me it's like going on a roller coaster. Like it's scary, but it's that shock or whatever is fun. It's the thing is, for me, the same thing with scary movies is like what you're about to watch, and like the anticipation of like when is this jump scare going to happen, or when's this person going to get killed, or like all the like it's like the whole thing is for me is anticipation. Like, oh, when's it? I know it's going to happen, but when's it going to happen? And afterward, and when you're watching it with somebody, like seeing how scared they get is also fun. So
I just started talking.
yeah.
Oh, if it's I make it really annoying for everybody.
Well, I grew up watching my brother play Resident Evil. Like I would always just watch him play. It was fun to watch. It was like a movie, and we would do that all the time. So that was even I was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8. I'm watching him play these scary video games and stuff. And Silent Hill was another one that was really scary. So like all those, that was just another. It's just something I grew up with, so it doesn't really bother me that much. Great. Now everybody's frozen except for me.
Yeah, he's frozen.
There, everyone's good now. I think.
Okay, there he comes.
There you go. We missed you.
My internet connection is unstable. It says so. I forgot to plug in my Ethernet cable. So now I'm going solely on Wi-Fi.
Well,
that's all right.
Spotify's not listening to this episode.
All right. Well, I want to get to these other topics here. So what, Jim, what do you got?
So August starts tomorrow.
Mhm.
And with that, like football starts and everything else. So just kind of curious with that. Do you guys miss playing at all? Like, and I was also curious, like I was thinking about this last night, like there's things that we did like playing wise where like I look back now, I'm like, I would kill myself. Or not kill but that would like severely injure me if I had to do something like that now.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, that was almost 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about that and just kind of curious, like, so what even like made you, because what made you guys play, like get into football to begin with?
My older brother played, so I wanted to play. And every year, I started when I was 8 playing tackle football. Every year I was excited about it. And then about 3 or 4 weeks in, I would cry at home because I did not want to go to practice. And my dad's like, you got to go. You got to finish. You got to finish the season. And that happened like 3 years in a row. And then once I understood like, oh, I'm big and I can push people around, then it was a little more fun, but it's still just like all 3 of us played offensive line. It still sucked because we could never touch the ball or never do anything. Nope. Hi.
There we go.
All right. It's funny because my computer's recording, so it's catching me still. But not you guys. So
okay, so it's good it happens when you talk.
Anyway, so I always wanted to play up until a little bit into the season, and then once I figured out like, oh, I'm big and I can play football, it was cool. But we were all offensive linemen and we all want to touch the ball, so it got boring sometimes. God, this is gonna be a shitty episode. Hold on. All right, we'll see if this works or helps any.
I'm excited.
We just did an ad for Disney, so make sure you contact them.
All right,
but you gotta edit out what Jim said.
Do I really?
Jim was talking shit during the ad, so I was like, I don't think a sponsor is gonna want this.
Oh, okay. No, I'm good.
I just said if you want to go into severe credit card debt,
You just got to plan. That's all.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just got a plan. And
yeah.
You still won't have enough, but you'll get close.
All right. Sorry about that.
All right. So yeah, we all played offensive line, and then you cut out there.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone wants to be able to touch the ball, run the ball, throw the ball, and we couldn't. So there was a point where I was going to quit after my 8th grade season, but then my dad's like, hey, you're moving to Perrysburg, make some friends. I said, okay. And then I was going to quit after that too. And then Mr. Pullman's like, no, I think you'll be, you should still come out, play. And then after my sophomore year, I was like, well, I might as well just finish out my high school career here as a football player. But I I don't miss it as much because I've been coaching, so I'm always out there doing stuff. But every once in a while, when I do think like, oh, I that's what I should have done when I played, or I should have done this or that or the other. I think about what I could have done. I know I know I definitely could have went to the weight room because that's one thing I never did. But no, I don't. I don't miss it terribly. I know before I started coaching, I did. I never went to. I've never seen a high school football game from the stands. So it's because I knew I wouldn't. I knew I'd miss it. So, what about you guys?
I do miss it, but to Jim's point, I've thought about that a lot. Like prime example was yesterday. I took Olivia to Sky Zone, which is just a trampoline park. And later that night, or last night, I felt like I had just gotten the shit kicked out of me because like my whole body was just sore. So I came home taking like Tylenol or Advil or whatever. But to Jim's point, I thought about that like something else where it's just like you can tell like when you get older, like little things start popping up like aches and pains. It's just like God, played football in high school and you just beat the piss out of your body like
Yeah.
every day, like especially during 2 days. And I remember even back in 2 days, and I'm sure you guys are the same. You'd get home at night and you just be like, you just were so sore, like
Yeah.
your whole body was just aching. But I do remember drinking pickle juice, and that helped. So
On that note, just being sore, we walked out yesterday. Was our first day of 2 days. Was yesterday. So a couple of things. I don't remember ever starting before August 1st, but we've done that these past couple of seasons. And we came out with shoulder pads on, and I turned to the head coach. I go, I don't remember ever coming out first day with shoulder pads. He goes, oh, it's something new. They changed this year. He goes, technically, we could have come out first day of 2 days in full pads because they let us use our days in the summer as acclimation days.
that did change. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
so we
remember there
could,
was always like a handful that you didn't have that.
yeah, five practices before full contact. But he said we could have came out and did full contact the very first day if we wanted to.
Well, that's what the winning teams are doing. So we're already behind.
No, he said, he goes, it would, he goes, I thought about it, but I don't know. You still want to kind of ease into it,
Oh
and,
yeah.
and it's a lot. Cause he was like, we went to did a 7-on-7 against Wapakoneta, and he goes, we were off last week. He said they used last week 5 days acclimation, and then they rolled right into practice. I go, I remember doing that. Except we ran the wing T offense, and as an offensive lineman, that was horrible for just like 3 weeks straight of doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Jimbo?
I mean, I miss the locker room and like bullshitting and stuff like that. But like basic things, like I'll go work out for 20 minutes or 30 minutes at home now, and I'm like, oh man, that like kicked my ass. Like I just need to relax. And then like looking back, I was like, dude, we just to warm up, right? It's like run a couple times around the field and like do that. And like now I'd be like, all right, no, I'm done at that point. And then it's like, oh, and now practice starts. It's like, okay. And then I mean, like I mean, it's weird. Like I had zero. I mean, I'm not sure really why I got into football. I mean, I'm a bigger guy, whatever. But there's no like, hey, like I didn't play. I did it in 5th grade, and then I didn't do it 6th, 7th grade at all.
Oh,
And then I had a history teacher that was like during like like or whatever, like an informational meeting for football, who's like, hey, you should just go check this out. And I went, and then it was just like, we'll see. And then they just kind of rope you in that way, and then you're there type of thing. But we also won like in 8th grade, which I think was cool. Like I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but like we were winning, and that was cool. And then like freshman year we were average, I guess. And then I don't know. So it was just like,
Wait,
okay.
you cut out there. What about sophomore year? What happened?
You cut out there.
Remember, what was that? Nail it part 2, or what was that?
Yeah, but like JV wise, I don't even remember.
Oh, JV wise, yeah, we were pretty good.
We yeah, because I think Mr.
Oh, yeah,
Pullman,
yeah, we
Mr.
ran that
Pullman, yeah, we did. We didn't lose a game, but it's because Mr. Pullman Remember we we made
We, like,
somebody
pissed
made
off the
JV
varsity.
somebody made JV shirts that like NLL champs or something.
Yeah, we did. That was
Yeah,
my it was my uncle because he
Was it?
like he works with like a print shop or something. I remember that. And he got us NLL champs, like JV NLL champ shirts because my cousin Matt, grade above us, was also on JV that year.
Okay.
But yeah, I do remember that. That's
Yeah.
funny.
So it was like that. Then like junior year we were good. So it's like, okay, like we weren't terrible, but it wasn't anything. It's weird too. Like my senior year, I remember like going into the year, I was speaking with my grandpa who he was a Perrysburg guard, class of 55. And he's like, hey, try to cut block. I'm like, okay. That's all I did like my senior year for some reason. Like I cut blocked the shit out of people. And I'm like 6'1", it's like I could have probably easily just drove people back if I really wanted to, but it was just like in my mind, it's like, okay, I just need to take care of this person. If I cut them, like they're out of the play essentially, like whatever, and do that. So like I'm on the ground a majority of the time or like doing this type of shit. And then it's just like, and looking back at it now, I'm like, dude, if I cut block somebody now, like it would take me like 5 minutes to get back up. And it's just like, okay. But no, I mean,
You probably
I
also
think-
wouldn't be starting because the coach would roast you. Probably like, Jim, why are you on the ground every single play?
oh, dude, Harmon at the end was just like, yeah, your guy's getting blocked, but like you need to stay off the ground. You have to do push-ups if you end this play on the ground. I was like, okay.
It took him it took him all season to see this on the film.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what's
I mean,
funny.
we didn't have the most like advanced tape and scouting.
No, we
Was
did
it-
not.
was it
That's
a-
what I'm saying. Is like in
yeah.
this day and age, I feel like the scouting or the tape analytics would see
I
that
felt
very
like I
quickly.
was pretty, not to my own horn with it, but like, I mean, because it's like, okay, I'm not gonna like this other person might be a lot quicker than me, but like if I get into their hip or like take out their quad, like they're not doing shit this play. Like what? Like they're a non-factor. Now it might like cause a complete cluster F at the point of attack where like somebody's supposed to be going through.
Yeah.
But my guy did not make the play. It might be there's no one for them to go.
In this team sport known as football, there is a lot of my guy and I did my job. That's coming out of your mouth right now.
Oh, dude, that's why I loved offense because it was like, hey, you're gonna go here and block that. Like your responsibility is X, right?
Yeah.
If there's no one over in front of you, then go get a backer. Or like go backside or do whatever. It would like in my head, that's what it was. And then defense, it's like, hey, stunt this way, do this. And then once you get past this guy, then go find the ball. It's like there's a lot of variables in there. Like tell me like, okay, there's a man on, like, no, okay, or like, just show and then go, like all these different things. Like it was very basic. I felt like on offense of what you were supposed to do.
I really want Jim to be a coach right now and try and run like an offensive line unit.
Can
All
I
right,
tell? Dude, sorry.
go ahead. No,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
if I should at some point talk to you guys about our offense currently, you guys would be swimming. It's amazing what these kids can do and know what to do, when to do it. And if they're lined up this way, even offense, Jim, if they're lined up this way, then you have to do this. But if they go this way, then you got to make a call. The whole offensive line has to hear the call and know, like, it's changing a little bit. Like it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, I played center for like 3 years and had no idea what the hell I was doing. All I wanted to do is remember like what the snap count was.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's like I get that down. That's 80% of my job. And then
cut block.
Let me just get in front of somebody and try to like make sure we're going the right direction.
And then cut this dude's legs out from under him. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
No better feeling in the world than jamming somebody up front and then diving straight for their kneecap and then just taking them out of the play. Because I don't care who you are. I remember we were going against Central Catholic and they had some dude on the end who was decent. But like a couple times I did that and like it was, I don't know. Like it worked. I
Yeah.
wasn't. I wasn't
He's
gonna get in
like,
a
dude, what do
drink.
you got? What have you have against my college career? My freaking knees. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could obviously outstrength me, and he was a hell of a lot quicker than I was. But like, hey, all's fair. You know, you take somebody's leg out, and they're not nearly as quick.
Now,
So
and you're right, 100%. Now, what you could, and I don't know, maybe this is what you've done. It doesn't sound like it. Sounds like it's Cut City over there on Jim's side of the neighborhood. But
dude, right side
uh,
strong.
um, you could have done it a few times, and now they have to think about it, and so it slows them down that way. So you can still block them
Right.
regular, but I don't know if that was what was happening.
No, and I mean, even like in shit where even where it was like, hey, I gotta get backer, right? Like you have to get the ball's going away from your side, and
Did you ever just dive at somebody and just completely miss?
dude. So here's and this is in my mind, and then still this day, I'm like, why don't more people do this?
I can't wait.
So if I'm on the right side and it's a run play to the left, obviously like where Lorenzo is, like let's go behind him and not me. So
It was our
even if
offense, but
yeah, even if there's a guy on me, it's like, okay, you let him go and you go next level, right? And so in my mind, I'm like, hey, if I can get my head in front and essentially just tackle him, like I'm going head in front, take him out at the hip, then it stops all backside pursuit because now there's a huge cluster F in the middle of the play, and we're going far left. So really, it should take out. If I can get the linebacker out, then it should stop all the defensive line. Like it should just really like clog up that side, and then like let the other people deal with their
This
shit.
is some high analytics. I don't know if the listeners will be able to follow this.
well,
I know, but Lorenzo knows what I'm getting at.
I do, but
Take
I'm
notes.
pretty sure it's illegal to do that.
Yeah, but like how I mean, I had an umpire, I think like once or twice be like, hey, you gotta engage high and then go low.
Yeah.
But and then after that, it's like whatever. But like even that, it was just like get my head to the side, like to the ball, like the side that we're going,
Yeah.
and then I'm just diving into them, and they're going down. And then if I cause a traffic jam, once again, in my head, I'm like, it's all pursuit, guys. So technically, I'm looking out like I'm taking out.
I just blocked like 6 guys. Yeah.
Exactly.
Lorenzo, is there an archive of film somewhere in Perrysburg that you could pull these tapes anywhere?
No,
God.
that'd be.
God, I really
That
want
would
to
be
go back
sweet.
and watch film right now.
Like you'll see. I mean, legitimately, like I was just diving at people's legs nonstop, especially like middle linebackers because they're looking the other direction. So it's a clean like. I don't know how I didn't pop people's knees. Like I was never involved in an injury that took somebody off the field, but I don't know how I didn't like I was rolling up on people's ankles. Like I was doing like whatever because it was just like, hey, I got my guy.
There's 55 again.
Dude, double nickel running through the middle, just doing things. But
Oh my gosh.
no,
Well,
so it's stupid shit like that. But then I look at it, I was like, dude, if I dove at like just thinking that the activity of just like diving at on the ground right now,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Well, I think no, you're shaking it. I think the I think the most important thing you said about in that whole rambling of nonsense is of how you got started or why you stayed into it is the locker room part. Yeah. And ultimately, I think that's why we're here right now. We played football together for 4 years, and we would hang out with each other. We would I mean, you guys live close to each other too. So like that's I don't want to say the sole reason, but it's pretty damn close is the reason why we're friends right now.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy is like thinking back to like the Austin trip that we went on with like the amount of people there. I'd say less than half of them actually played. Like, there's no like consensus like, hey, they're all on the basketball team together. They all play
Yeah.
baseball together. They
Mhm.
all play football together. Like any like there, if anything, it was a majority of football guys, but it was still less than like half of that, I would say too.
Well, the way I described it, I don't know if we talked about it here or wherever, but we have friends. Let's just say, because I hung out with um Irwin, Gumpf, Sparks, Kurt. I hung out with those guys a lot. And then each one of those guys had another, and Trey. And then each one of those guys had another, like, another group of friends. But we were
Yeah.
all knew each other. And we would all, every once in a while, we'd all go to Trey's or come to my house and hang out. So there was,
Yeah.
I think there was still core groups. And I'm sure you and Tyler had like, hey, here's our group. Maybe our boy Matt Cool was involved in that every once in a while, or Rick. That was your like core
Right.
group, but we would all merge. And I think that's what the Austin trip was. It was just another merging of all those groups just
Yeah.
20 years later,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, just like stupid shit like that stuff I miss, but
yeah,
the other
the running and the Indian runs and the sprints and all that stuff.
You mentioned we were really good in 8th grade. I would argue we were the best conditioned team like ever, because
You had
I
Coach
think,
Hill. Is that who it
yes,
was?
Speaking of
yes.
that,
Do you
dude.
guys remember? Yeah, like we just did, dude. I swear to God, it felt like every practice, all we did like 3/4 of the time was like run. We were always running. I
Yeah.
felt like we were like a cross country team, and then like for the last like then half hour, then we would actually like do plays. But I always felt like we were just always running.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you didn't have him, Lorenzo, but
No.
like he's somebody like most interesting man on the world, and like the way his career's changed and what all he's doing in the last.
I think he's
20
still I think he's still involved in the school, because I get the school emails, and
Yeah.
he'll email the whole group and about certain things.
Yeah, just but like from where he was probably like 25 years ago to like all the stuff that he's doing now. Like if I were to be like, hey, this guy's gonna like who in this group is going to go like on the border of Ukraine during like all this type of
Yeah.
shit, like,
Yeah.
I would not have thought back then like, oh, it's gonna be Coach Hill.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting dude. Like you should get him on the pod.
Yeah.
But
All right.
no, like we just and that was the thing too. In 7th grade, I think you guys all sucked, probably because I didn't play. And then in 8th grade, like it all of a sudden, like they went from winning like 2 games to we lost like 1. And or something.
Yeah, I feel like 7th grade was the first time a lot of us were playing like any sort of organized football.
It
Truthfully,
is. That
Uh,
is. I noticed when I was a 7th grade coach, that was like the first time you take bus trips. The first time it's like the first time for a lot of stuff.
yeah. So that was like an eye opener. But yeah, we were bad. I will obviously. Yeah, we were bad.
But yeah, it's just like, hey, if we sucked in 8th grade, I probably would have been like, meh. This
You're out.
nothing worse than like getting your ass kicked in practice forever and then going out to games and other people then also kicking your ass senior
Yeah.
year.
Senior,
But
yeah, yeah. But all right, well, Ty, we're running out of time. We'll have to get
I'll do a quick fire topic. Ready?
okay.
Just a quick fire. What have you guys seen any amazing films this summer?
First of
Quick
all,
fire.
the use of the word films is chef's kiss right there.
Thank you.
Films.
That's what I call them.
cinematic
I'm a scholar.
masterpieces.
Yeah, I'm a scholar of film. So
What I don't know if I've.
you don't have to overthink it. It can be anything. What do you guys?
Oh,
what's like
the
your
last
standout?
Jurassic World movie.
Did you like that?
I did like it, but I've liked all of them. And I know people are like, oh, it's the last one was like cheesy or whatever. But I liked all of them. My favorite movie ever is the first Jurassic World or Jurassic Park. That's my favorite movie of all time.
Never seen it.
So good.
It's a
So
little
good.
scary, Jim. You'll probably
Yeah.
watch it.
Probably why
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Also Mateo is really into him, so that adds a little bit for me too. Like he was all about it. He's like, Dad, they have all the dinosaurs in it, and like he was talking about it because he spoils movies for himself all the time on watching YouTube and stuff. I said, don't say anything to me. I just want to watch the movie. So it was really cool, and to see um like all the people that were in that movie coming together and everything. It was a cool movie. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we went and saw Top Gun, which chef kiss. I mean, the storyline and everything. It's just has you at the edge of your
Don't
seat.
use my thing. Okay, you gotta zig on that one.
I did not zig. So, I mean, it was fun. I saw Elvis a couple last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. It was okay.
Yeah.
If you like Elvis music, that's really what it kind of boils down to. I feel like.
Sure, if the movie's called Elvis, yeah.
Yeah. So, nothing. There's nothing, and it's weird too. Like none of it. It just happened. Like we had a free night, the kids weren't home, so it was like, yeah, let's go see what this is. Like there was nothing
Yeah.
like, hey, I need to see this.
Yeah.
But
I'm a little
enjoyed
behind.
it.
I was a Thor: Love and Thunder fan. I love the Marvel Comics universe, and I know Jim's not into it, but
I was just gonna say we're a little behind on that. We've missed the past few for just because, and then we were gonna watch Doctor Strange, but that's the first horror movie of the MCU, so we kind of Mateo really wanted to watch it, and we're trying to tell him it's a little scary, but I'm a little behind on those. Are you all caught up?
Yeah. Well, the timeline stuff, like if you watch it, pull up Disney Plus and it just tells you like order of not cinematic release, but timeline release. There's certain stuff that I would be caught up, and then for instance, like they dropped Loki this year. I had never watched it, and I just started it a couple days ago, and like I watched the first 2 episodes, and it's so crazy how you have a storyline and then they can so easily like offset or offshoot like the storyline and just go
throwing zigs at you.
Zigs, dude, just straight zigs
left and right.
They zig it. But yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah. So you said you liked the Thor movie?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good, really well done.
Sorry, film.
I love
film.
Thank you. Film. Christian Bale played a villain in it,
Yeah.
It's people don't know he was Batman.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a spoiler. He was pretty well known. But
it's pretty well known he played Batman. But
yes. Okay. Also played Batman, yes, correct. But yeah, I mean the dude could act. I thought he played a phenomenal role. So
well, good.
Make sure you tag that as the headline of this. Christian Bale can act. Tyler's office.
Dude,
quote Tyler.
Spot the lie. You can't.
All right. Well, this is another great dad podcast. I really like when we do like stereotypical dad stuff. Like last one we talked about, what did we talk about? Like gophers, moles, gophers, and this time we talked about insurance. So we're hitting all the hard hitting topics for dads out there. But before we go, of course, we got to end with our dad jokes. Does anybody want to volunteer to go first?
I would love to, because I've been thinking of this like for weeks now, and I saw this one and I was like, all right, this is good. So
hit it.
What do sprinters eat before a race?
Huh.
Nothing. They fast.
That's a good one.
Perfect.
I like it.
Yeah.
I see why I've been on it. Yeah, waiting.
They fast. Ty, you want to go?
Sure.
Good luck. Finish.
So I'll go off a script here.
Okay.
And I kind of heard this one, but this will be a struggle. So just let the listeners know.
Oh no. Okay.
All right. So
I swear to God, if this is Rolling Stone Bank.
It won't be as long as George's. I don't think that one would be hard to top. That was a very long one. It was good, but it was very long. Okay, so an employee at an office keeps calling in sick like throughout the week, and then eventually, he shows up though pretty occasionally on Fridays just to get the last day of the work weekend. And the boss finally goes up to the employee and says, "Hey man, I I gotta ask you, why are you always seemingly sick during the work week, but then you're fine on the weekends? And he goes, I don't know, it must be my weekend immune system. Yeah. A
That
little bit.
wasn't bad. That wasn't long.
No, it wasn't. I was just
Weekend immune system.
the weekend immune system.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, here's mine. Someone asked me to name 2 structures that hold water. I was like, well, damn.
It plays.
Place. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on. A couple of weeks, we'll have another draft. Got to add a person
Tyler
or
gonna
two.
show up to this one, or
I definitely need to put this one on the calendar. So yeah, like that's I'll have to figure that out.
It should be the 14th.
The 14th.
Yeah.
Let me pause here. Let me just
No pause. All right, guys. Thanks again. Enjoy your lives. I will be in 2-a-days for the next 8 days. So looking forward to that. So all right, guys. This has been another episode of 3 Different Dads. See ya.
3 dads.